There will always be dossiers against a revolutionary movement like ZANU-PF. It is part of the existence of ZANU-PF that in one way or the other, there's a dossier produced to, and invariably it's about trying to detract, to confuse, to deviate, to make the party deviate from its chosen path of delivering prosperity to the Zimbabwe people. I picked up about this dossier manufactured in South Africa 4 months ago, which we are talking about. And our president was already aware of it from that time. And we know he knew, and our South African friends knew the origin of that dossier. We also, as a party, knew of the attempts to foist turmoil within the party, to unduly propel a leadership contest which is off the timetable of the party at this particular juncture. We have a Congress coming in 2027-28, which will decide on what direction the party takes in terms of leadership. Some people may be impatient that that date may be a little bit too far, and outsiders may even lend these documents, these dossiers which we talk about. In fact, there was one at some time which was on the television as the Gold Mafia dossier. You know, they always come, you know, they do come. And sometimes if they coincide with ambition within the liberation movement, somebody may even buy them. And he may then try to see what mileage he can get out of such dossiers. But when it comes before the Politburo, we are very sane people. We have been through it 1,000 times. 60 years of being ZANU-PF, we have seen it all. So in the end, those things, we just put them aside and we focus on the more important work at hand. We are not distracted by the dossiers which even your publishing house is prone to peddle. You're trying to foist those dossiers as if they are the be-all and every-all about Zimbabwe. They are not, those dossiers. What I have talked to you about, what we are doing with the economy of Zimbabwe and the delivery of prosperity to Zimbabwe, those are the things that nobody can answer. We are not, and my president in particular, this one, is unduly phased, is not duly phased by some of these dossiers which you claim to be. Maybe one or two of his lieutenants, maybe one or two people in the Politburo may think it matters. Maybe they may think it can give them some mileage in a purported leadership contest. But the Politburo is not unduly moved by those things. We just look at it, we put it, you know, we treat them like a dark fluffs of water as it begins to fly out of a pond. Atibatikani nazo izvo blessed. So arukutaura.
Just a follow-up. You speak about the Congress that is coming in the near future. Your party has declared resolution number 1, and that is, it appears it's a custom stone. In your provinces are already endorsing the candidate of President Emerson Mnangagwa beyond 2020. So this Congress that you're talking about, is it just a water and the last past?
Can I answer that? It's a democratic party. And in 5 years, this man has restored the currency of this country. This man has built a power-based energy in Bwange, which nobody ever thought of. This man has given the country a steel plant, which is unparalleled on the African, even in European continent. This man. This man, he have removed the country from being a beggar of the World Food Program for food for the Zimbabweans. We are now producing wheat for ourselves. This man is building roads, even on the budget of the country when nobody else wants to support us. This man is attracting investment on a world-class scale, like having steel plants by the best investors available on the global market. This man has put lithium plants where Zimbabwe can now aspire to become a producer of electric vehicle batteries, where our resources are not being exported raw, they are being beneficiated here, giving this country a chance to become part of the industrial revolution in a globalizing world. This man, he has made many young people become billionaires, or at least give them a US dollar food earnings per day by growing tobacco, by digging gold. Now they are in blueberries, which are going even all over the global market. There is palpable prosperity which is being delivered to Zimbabwe. And the membership of ZANU-PF is happy with that man. They haven't seen anything which they may want to say can blemish him. So they say, Rambayam Chigona Basa. They say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what they are saying. He says, I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in 2 terms. I wrote that constitution. When my day comes, after my 2 terms, I go. That's his view. So let's wait for the date. But it doesn't stop us from working on a day-to-day issues, on the economic parameters which we are talking about. Because that debate should not become the be-all and everything about ZANU-PF. Yes, there are some people in ZANU-PF who but the other people are saying, Shipela, Imbomirai, Ngwenyi Chashika Congress, Tokona Uti Munekodzere for Congress, through the democratic process. The most important thing which ZANU-PF and which the president is doing is to safeguard the integrity of democratic choice by Zimbabweans in the selection of the leadership of Zimbabwe. This is so important. Any other method does not and will not meet the standards of ZANU-PF. And down of Voterwa. This is important. So they are not saying that they are going to close out the election for a particular individual. They are simply saying that when the time comes, Pindai Murin, a winner, lose. So that's it. We cannot prescribe to a democratic people that we can't. This is a democratic party, it's a mass party. That's what ZANU-PF is. It's a mass party. Vano join ZANU-PF nekuda, vano buda nekuda, vano sedza, vano sharuza marida zao nekuda. That's how we came into power in 1979, 1980, through democracy. But you know, your paper wants to champion other people. Kunzidaiwa pindaiwa omsiyoyo. Amuvote ZANU-PF beparing. Membership ZANU-PF ndo no voter. You may make noise as much as you want on your paper, but it doesn't change the fact that it is membership of ZANU-PF which votes and not your newspaper. You may have the narcissism, muri Alpha Media Holdings, amviri kufura vamu. Kweda atikendenge nazvo izvozvo. Hatina basa nazvo kusaidi kwedu kupata. Kuti munozoona sei. Kana pane vamwe vanouya kwamuri vachikuti dai matiita matipinza, kana mazoita imimi substitute yevanhu vemavoters eZANU-PF, mozoita zvamunoda. But as long as the voters of ZANU-PF and membership are there and they are in charge of themselves, we will listen more to them than to you. Your last question?
Yes. Your tone in terms of people who flash your activity to my central committee for places suddenly changed. If I remember correctly, in the last press conference, we were arguing that warning that you can't use cars.
I still hold to that view.
But today you appear to say that this will be legitimate, which might be aware, but it is understandable. If you can censor.
No, I haven't changed anything. If there's a change, it's in your head, it's not on my side. I haven't changed anything. You know, you can't buy your way through ZANU-PF. And if I meet him, I'll tell him exactly like that. You can't buy his way through ZANU-PF. You know, netsa kutenga ZANU-PF. I gonna kutengeka because people feel very possessive about this party. Every family in Zimbabwe in the 70s and 60s and 70s lost a member because they joined the liberation struggle. Vanhu vanoona ZANU-PF sechinhu chavo. Saka they are jealous about their thing. Usaedze kuda kuchitenga because vanokuramba vakada kutenga. I can repeat that even if he's still in front. You can bring him before me. You can ask me that question tinai ndinomutaurira kuti kuZANU-PF hakutengwe vanhu. That I will do because that's a revolutionary. It's a revolutionary canon about ZANU-PF. That's how it is. So I haven't changed. If there's any change about that statement, it's in your head, I repeat, not in mine.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Another question? Thank you.
There are reports that Mani's still plan to close in 2 months. How far true is that?
You see, there is again the same quarters. They are they wish so bad about their country. So they actually think that a steel plant of that magnitude is like a corner butchery in a rural area. You don't go close, but it does not work like that. This is a big project, $1.2 billion worth of investment by a Fortune 500 company, number 259 in the whole world. Pama company SA Pamsore Panika Pano 500. Tsingshan is number 259. They have seriously thought about doing business in Zimbabwe to commit that kind of money in Zimbabwe. Saka kuti kuita ana magu nevamwana meno vamwana ana chikanza something like that. Vanongomuka umba kwamaikoti because yakavakwa nehanzi maChina akavaka saka yavhara. Azvidaro. This is a big investment. It has been operating now almost more than a year from the day it was commissioned. It's normal that blast furnaces do have time where you close and then you tweak them to make sure that they are optimally performing. And this is exactly what they did. They produced so much in order to anticipate for the time of closure until October, so that the market will not be stuffed. In the meantime, they are bringing their engineers from China to come and look at the production process, the whole chain, value chain of production at Manise, so that they can tweak it so that it can perform at optimal performance. I'm telling you, as we are talking now, we are very busy engaged with the largest steel company in South Africa, which has decided to come into a relationship with Manise because they respect the technological prowess of the Zimbabwean counterpart at Manise. A company which has been number one on the African continent for the last almost 70 years. He has come and taken its cap and thrown it into the, and bowed to what the technology Zimbabwe has delivered at Manise. That's why I'm talking about my president spearheading a steel union between Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Mozambique. We don't do it with the defunct plants. We do it because we have got a working plant. So musaterere zvinhu zvevanhu vanongoti akangoridzirwa kunzi saka Zimbabwe yaane steel yobva vasvotwa kuti haisi mvuto iya yemugomo iri paya papa. It's a big steel plant, a thoroughly modern steel plant. Ingavanzwisa ana magugu like that. And they always want to talk bad about investment because yanzi yabva kuChina. Hakuna investments yabva kuChina. America every day gets Chinese investments every 4 o'clock. Today, 4 o'clock, the Federal Reserve Bank of America is waiting for Chinese to come and buy their treasury bonds, 700 billion of them. This man is Chinese. Because when it pumps into the American economy, it works. China, China, China. But whenever pendeki munyika medu vanongofunga kuti chikanzi chachema saka hachisenzi. And I ask Anamagu, if you think this is a bad investor, why don't you go and bring yours from somewhere else? I don't know where the serious corruption allegations against Tagwirei are coming from. Normally in this country, there are statutory bodies which deal with corruption. If you as a journalist has got those corruption allegations and they are valid, I encourage you to go straight from this place to the police station, report Kuda Tagwirei as a corrupt person, and maybe from here you also go to the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, you go and report him and submit your allegations about his corruption in those institutions. Because those are the institutions with a statutory mandate to deal with accusations of such a nature. Definitely the journalist, he can only allege, but he can't say, he can't, until you go through that system, which I have described, it's only an allegation. So I cannot comment about things which come from social media. I don't have a brief for Tagwirei and his business, but I do have a brief about ZANU-PF and the systems which it has put as a party to make sure that there is probity in the business conduct of Zimbabweans. So we have the laws, and they were passed by this party. It has been the ruling party for the past 45 years. Those laws exist, and there are statutory institutions which deal with those matters. Please, let's not use the public gallery as an arbiter of allegations of that nature. Because if we do that, we become a lawless land. Today it's you, tomorrow it's him, next time it's me. We can't do that. So go to the competent authorities to say, why haven't you dealt with Tagwirei? It is not the duty of this party to substitute itself for the statutory organs of the country which deal with matters which you are raising, particularly if they are of such a grave nature. Yeah. The other thing about Chinamasa's statements, I am the spokesperson of ZANU-PF. I speak for ZANU-PF, and I speak for the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, who is the first secretary and president of ZANU-PF. I speak for him. I speak for the party. I am not the spokesperson of Patrick Chinamasa. So I can't be commenting on anything which he feels he may say at any particular time. It is his comments. It has nothing to do with what my job does, which is to clarify, which is to broadcast and give clarity to the membership of the party and the general public of Zimbabwe about what is going on in terms of appointments in the Politburo. Incidentally, and I want to emphasize this, I do not announce members of the Central Committee from the minutes of a Politburo meeting. I don't use the minutes as a reference point. What I use is an appointment letter which has been signed by the Secretary of Administration, Obetumpov, which would have been bona fide cleared by the leader of the party, President Mnangagwa. When that letter is brought to me, I will come here and I will come and announce to you who is a Central Committee member and who is not. And that Central Committee member would have been duly informed through the appointment letter. So if that procedure hasn't happened, I will not announce anybody here. And it means that that person is not yet be in that position which is purported to be in. Does it make sense to you? Thank you so much. We had a Central Committee meeting here a few days ago. That individual was not here. There were a host of other names which may have been, which are justing to be members of the Central Committee. They have yet to be cleared in the manner which I described. I only deal, appointments means, like everybody has got a job, appointment. Makatambira tsamba dzekunzi you're appointed as a journalist by whichever organization. Those late go futhi kupati kwedu. kunonyorwa tsamba. It does not come from minutes. So me as an information officer, I don't go and read minutes kuti ndizive kuti apoindwa ndiani. No. Ndomirira tsamba yakanyorwa naObed Mpofu. And that letter does not exist concerning that individual which you are talking about.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
The second question, Temba Municipal has publicly attacked senior ZANU-PF leaders, including Vice President Constantino Chiwenga. Does the party see these remarks as an isolated outburst? And how is the party responding to the attacks?
Look, this is a democracy. Somebody may attack anybody. It shouldn't be done. We should also behave towards each other with propriety as common citizens of Zimbabwe. I have been several times attacked by the same person. He actually gets his meal ticket from whoever sponsors him. Each time he mentions the name of Mutsvangwa or even my wife, he gets some meal out of that because he cannot any hard days work from decent work. I've lived with him for a long time. So, look, maybe if I feel it is worth it, I may decide to take liberious action by the courts. I may decide to answer back. I could go for a press conference, and I've got a lot of things which I could go on about him. But sometimes you say one fool at a time. If there's a fool already in the ring, why do you want to join the ring? Maybe you just leave it like that. Because mushakwedu zvinonzi kana benzi rakubira hembe uchigeza dzawakayanika rine marengenya iro iwe ukabuda patsime kana mudziwa uchiritandanisa uri pedzi benzi rine marengenya vanhu vanofunga kuti iwe uri pedzi ndiwe benzi. So sometimes you let sleeping dogs lie. I'm sure General Chiwenga will probably answer in the